Hello everybody, today I have a look at two wonderful classic looking slip joint knives. One is by the Chinese manufacturer Rough Rider, who quickly made a reputation for offering truly interesting quality at incredibly low prices. And here we have one of the, really you could say, the old-timer brands, Karl Schlieper, excellent German brand, with really a lot of character, and actually pretty affordable as well, actually. Well, not as cheap as a Chinese knife, but considering the quality, this is also something really interesting. Let's have a look first at the Rough Rider. So I actually already mentioned Rough Rider in another slip joint review, where I compare a few small Rough Riders to a case, and I was then already impressed by the really good quality. What we have here is one of the more luxurious ones with, as you can see when I turn the knife a bit, extremely beautiful dark mother of pearl inlays. So, and it's true mother of pearl, it's not plastic, it's perfectly finished. And so this is the price of, let's say, a new CD, around 20 euros or 22 euros. So which is extremely impressive considering how well it's made. So the end, it has a bit of a platinum kind of sheen to it. So it's stainless steel, but there is a bit of a slight color in it, which makes it also very elegant. We're talking about a true gentlemanly look and feel. It's called the Kano. Kano, I think in English, kind of knife with this kind of old-fashioned kind of spear point blade as the main blade. Well, the always ready here slogan, I think it's a bit tacky, it's a bit unfortunate. They use classic 440A steel, which is by today's knife nut standards, it's relatively low end, but for a gentleman use, as this is designed, it is probably quite okay. I mean, for many people, occasional use, this will be perfectly okay. It's nicely thin, around 1.5 millimeter, which makes this a terrific slicer. So that is an interesting characteristic of this. The blade here is around 6.5 centimeters long. So let's say 2.5 inches, and a slip joint not locking, so probably legal in most countries. 440 steel is also quite good, quite well stainless, and no play, but of course being a thin blade you shouldn't use this for the hardest work, but as a companion knife I think, well, quite lovely. And here there is a smaller blade as well. So typically two blade knives, I think they are quite practical. I would use, typically such a small blade is good, it is in the office for opening boxes, packages occasionally, and this one for, let's say, more food related tasks. I think that's a good split of functionality. They work, and indeed, considering for a gentleman usage, well, for a good, amazing price, well, you cannot say that this Chinese made knife is really inferior in quality. You cannot say that. It's actually pretty good, and I'm somebody who thinks that I like quality, no matter where it comes from. I think quality should be encouraged, and this one, well, is just right. Now, still, it must be said here, now we have a look at Karl Schlieper, the venerable company with the German I brand. It's more heft to it. Well, it's a bigger knife. This is a 3-blade Stockman, a classic. You could say this is a classic cowboy kind of knife. For once, I didn't buy it with the bone or with bone or stag, no, but the yellow plastic that Karl Schlieper also offers, and I think it looks quite modern actually. This yellow plastic, timeless actually. So that's why I don't mind that so much. They use carbon steel, which is not stainless, as you can see, because I use this sometimes on food. And then yes, logical, it will quickly get a patina. And now I may polish this a bit one of the next few days, then it will regain some of its color, but okay, it's quite, I don't mind it so much. Notice here the very big, let's say, a nick for your to open it, around 7 centimeters long here, or 7.5 even. So it's really, you could say that's 3. Yeah, well, the cutting edge is 7.5, so it's roughly 3 inches cutting. Carbon steel cuts very well, sharpens very hard, but the extra amount of carbon of course makes it less rust resistant, as you can see. So, and also hammer forged, which actually instead of cutting out the blade with a laser as often happens, or pressing it out, this is really formed with hammering, which they claim because it doesn't because it has an influence on how the fibers, you could say, of the metal fit together, makes for a really tough knife. I don't know if in today's world that argument is so important. I'm not 100% certain, but I like the old-fashioned craft quality of this kind of truly handmade knife, and yes, it's more expensive than the Chinese one, but considering that there's quite a lot of handmade work to it, it's still reasonable. It's also nicely finished here with, well, you could say yes, but it's nothing special, these pins. Well, actually some of the bone, the Karo Sleepers with bone handles have the pins not perfectly flush. I noticed that, but here this is quite okay. I had, when I unpacked it here at the top, there was a bit of a tiny bit of roughness with the brass liners and the spring, there was which was not 100% cleaned away, but I just wiped it a bit and it was okay. So you have also two smaller blades here. So you hear it, you feel it. It's more sturdy than the Rough Rider, but okay. I had a bit of a trouble opening this one. I need to hold it maybe a bit. Damn it. No, I'm not going to do the review again for that. 3 blades. This one, like I mentioned previously, also good for packages, and this is a sheepfoot one. And well, God, I will not break my nail on it now, which I think is good to open, to cut, let's say, a piece of cardboard that you need to precisely cut with a ruler. That's what a sheepfoot, in my opinion, is good of. So also quite an interesting knife, I would say, the Karo Sleeper. Now here, I will open it. Voila. Now you see that's indeed a sheepfoot blade. Also interesting, and a lot of character, and yes, carbon steel, but that's not so important. I put them side by side for my summary. Indeed, China has come a long way, you could say. A very gentle, luxurious kind of folder with true mother of pearl, which gives really a class all on its own. It looks like a custom knife almost. And here Karo Sleeper, traditional, hefty, well made, carbon. Yeah, both are really charming and both are really worth investigation. So I hope you found this an interesting, concise review, and as usual feel free to leave humbly honest feedback.